I think this film really captures life on a ship at that time, which is an extraordinary kind of place to be, a floating world, as they say, and then incredible battles which they have to engage in, close quarter firing, you know, really very brutal. When ships would engage in battles like this, all the men would take their tops off, actually. They'd throw sand on the decks and all the men would take their tops off because it was so likely that they'd be punctured by splinters of wood, and it would always be worse if the cloth got into the wound.
We see this in the film. There's a sequence where the cloth gets in. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's incredibly brutal fighting,
Yep.
but also a great kind of sweetness, and a ship, because it was at sea for such a long time, was basically a whole kind of community. And yet Captain Jack Aubrey is wonderful because he's a very fallible character. He's entirely human. He loves a good joke. He has a really crappy sense of humour in the books, especially. He loves really terrible puns, and Stephen Maturin is always rolling his eyes. And he's kind again, you know. I think that's what I'm drawn to in all of these films. He's very, very kind, but he is able to be stern and firm when he needs to be. I mean, there are no women in this film. It's a completely male-dominated environment, but there is such tenderness as well. It's not necessarily all about manliness and butchness and bravery and nobility. It's actually a lot about human reaching out.